The reason we really wanted to do this exhibition is to show that there are amazing jewellers working in London right now. When we tried to decide who was going to be in the exhibition, we looked at lots and lots of jewellers. And after a while, some themes emerged that we decided we wanted to focus on. And I think a lot of these themes are actually particular to London jewellery. One of the themes that surprised me a little was humour. Francis Wadsworth-Jones' brooch, Heaven Sent, is inspired by bird droppings on London's pavement. And when you look at Francis' rings, they might look like beautiful, but somewhat traditional pieces of jewellery. But then you look closely and you can see they're little ants that are trying to steal the stones. One other big theme, maybe not surprising with jewellery, is nature. What I found interesting when I spoke to the jewellers was that some of them said they only started to look at nature once they moved to London. Some of them come from the countryside and they obviously must have missed it or tried to bring it into the city. Hussam based one collection on roses that he found around his studio and other places in East London, which is not something you expect from a London jeweller. Rachel Boston is really interested in various animals, not necessarily ones you can find in London, and she picks parts of them and tries them out on her own body until she can see where they might fit, and then she makes them into jewellery. What we also tried to do with the exhibition is we don't just wanted to show the pieces, we wanted to bring in the worlds of the designers a little bit. So Imogen Belfield, she said her favourite place in the whole of London is the Natural History Museum, and she's very inspired by crystals. So her display of her quite chunky jewellery will look like an old-fashioned crystal display in an old museum. Another theme that came through quite strongly is this sense of narrative, that there is a story connected to the pieces. With Naomi Klein, you have the feeling that there were sort of animals and creatures and they left something behind that formed itself into some sort of jewellery, and something new might happen with them. The pieces are quite angular, spiky, and also even a little bit spooky, a little bit uncanny. There were two things we were really intrigued by looking at Duffy's jewellery. One were the actual pieces themselves, which are very talismanic. They look like they will protect you. But the other thing is he works in a very interesting way. He doesn't make any sketches, so this idea comes from his head through his hands into the wax model. Looking at Jordan Askill's pieces, you get a very strong sense of movement. He shows horses running or birds flying. He doesn't just make jewellery, he also makes sculptures that we show in the exhibition. All the jewellery designers in this exhibition work from East London. They all talked about respecting the materials they work with, but also being frustrated with the limitations of the materials. All the designers have to find a way of persuading the traditional craftsmen of Hatton Garden to do things in a new way. Find these two things coming together, the traditional methods and then young designers trying to do something new, really interesting, and I think it makes for some amazing jewellery.